explain and interpret tax terminology. Exciting topic here today. U.S. taxes are based on a progressive system, which means the higher the income, the higher the amount of taxes. Okay, taxes are boring enough. Let's make this a little bit more fun. So when we're calculating taxes, we first have to find our adjusted gross income. So if you hear people talk about their AGI, it's found by taking your total income earned, right? So your gross income less the allowable contributions and expenses. Notice the word allowable. Not every expense and contribution is an adjustment that we can subtract. So we take our gross income and we subtract these allowable contributions and expenses. Okay. When we do that calculation there, we get our adjusted gross income. You can find the list of all allowable contributions and expenses online. The taxable income. Okay, so our AGI is not entirely our taxable income. So the taxable income is the amount after all deductions, exemptions, and other allowable amounts have been subtracted from your adjusted gross income. Okay, so we have our gross income, right? Think back to this page. We have our overall gross income. Then we subtract our adjustments to get our adjusted gross income. Then we subtract deductions, exemptions, anything else. And now we have our taxable income. So once you have calculated the taxable income, that is the amount that the tax rate is applied to. So you've probably heard about like federal tax tables. All of that is when after you figure out your taxable income. So that's what you have to find first. Then you can figure out what am I paying in taxes. Now let's go back to tax deductions. So deductions are subtracted from your adjusted gross income to help calculate your taxable income. Okay, so adjustments and deductions are different. So again, find the complete list online. And I don't know if there is a complete list because things change constantly with tax rules. So the thing with deduction is that there's two different ways. We can itemize, or there's a standard deduction. So if you itemize, this is where you say that if I would break it all down, each item, if you will, by itself, that you are saying that would be more than if you would take the standard deduction that they give everyone. Okay, so you find your AGI and then you subtract the deductions, and that's how we get the taxable income. Now let's go back to the standard deduction. Based on the 2021 filings, an individual filer would have a standard deduction of $12,550. That means if I break down, I'm an individual filer, if I would break down and itemize my deductions, if they are less than $12,550, I don't want to itemize, I want to take the standard deduction. However, when I itemize, if they are more than $12,550, then I would want to itemize. That's how you figure it out. For head of household, married, filing jointly, or a surviving spouse, widow or widower, we have different standard deductions, and that is what you how you calculate those. Now, exemption amounts. I'm not real familiar with exemption amounts because none apply to me, but an exemption amount can apply to a taxpayer, a spouse, or a dependent like a child. So if you have kids, I do not have kids, I think you get a child exemption something, right? Those are just more things that we subtract from your adjusted gross income to find your taxable income. So this is just to lower your taxable income so you pay less taxes. Now, calculating the taxable income, the basic idea is the first step, we have to calculate our adjusted gross income. Remember, which is taking the gross income minus the adjustments. Once we have the AGI, then we subtract the deductions and the exemptions from that. Now we have the taxable income. So then we go to the taxable income and we can multiply by our tax rate, and we can use our federal tax tables where appropriate to help figure this out. Federal tax tables are really not that hard to understand. Feel free to watch another video on that to learn more about the federal tax tables and more about calculating income tax.